Hello. This is going to be a little bit different than what I usually post on this channel. Usually I do reviews and or unboxings, things like that. But I've really felt recently that I need to post about mental illness. It may seem really weird coming from me, but I am a sufferer of a panic disorder. That's a specific type of anxiety. Um, yeah, I am not the type of person that most people would assume would have that type of disorder because I most of my problems are first world. I have enough food. I'm not worried about where my next meal is or if I'll have enough money for my mortgage or if my kids are going to be okay. I have a great support system. My family is fantastic. Both, my parents, my husband, my kids. I've got great friends. I've got a good team with my derby team. So you'd think, what does she have to be anxious about? And I really want to try to get rid of the stigma that there has to be something wrong with you for you to have a mental disorder. People, when they think mental disorder, they think schizophrenia. They think hearing voices or being violent. And that's really not the case for most people. I have had anxiety symptoms since I was 6 years old. I used to panic every time the lights would go out. I used to have to sleep with a radio on because if it got too quiet, my brain would start making up things that I heard. I'd hear a pop, the house settling or whatever. I'd think that we were going to be robbed. We would have an alarm set. No one could actually get into the house, and I was on the second floor. I was worried people were going to climb through my window. This just kind of the basics on my anxiety. Anything that I post in these videos is how I experience anxiety, and that doesn't cover all of them. You can, my type of anxiety, I call it internal. I get stressed, I get overworked, overwhelmed. I go inside my head. It's really hard to explain unless you've seen it. I look like I'm thinking really hard about something. I will be in the middle of something and I will just stop. And I will go completely inside my head because I'm trying to sort everything out because that's the type of person I am. A lot of times, these are the people that you tell them, why are you so worried about everything? Don't worry so much. What's the worst that could happen? That's the worst question you can ask someone like me who has an anxiety disorder. Because I can tell you the worst thing that could happen. Or the worst thing that I can think could happen. I had a friend ask me, can you die from exercising? I went on for about 2 minutes before she made me stop. Because I was like, oh, well, this is how you could die. This is, if you're talking about on your own, just doing cardio, this could happen, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, just stop. I was joking. People like me, we're the ones that you can't really tell that there's something wrong. We're seen as A-type. We're seen as uptight. We're seen as paranoid because we see the worst possible outcome. And I've lived my entire life like that. I got medicated about 3 years ago. We had an attempted break-in. 2 guys tried to, they got onto our back patio, were trying to cut through the screen of one of our windows to try to get into our house. It scared the crap out of me. I thought I had it handled. I thought I was okay. But every time the lights would go out for us to go to bed, I would, even if I was exhausted before it happened, be wide awake, heart racing, sweating. I was panicking. I was having a panic attack. Those aren't my normal panic attacks. My normal panic attack is I stop. I stop everything. This was new to me. I went to my doctor, told them about it. They tried a couple different medications that weren't full-on anti-anxiety medication before I got full term on it. It's one of the best things I've ever done for myself. I am a proponent of medication if needed. That doesn't mean that every time you freak out about something that you need medicine. Please don't think that. But if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling like everything's closing in on you, or if you're having a depressive episode, especially if you're feeling suicidal or like you're going to self-harm, please find someone who can help you. That's not to say that you have to go to a counselor or a doctor or anything like that. Go to a friend. Go to someone, even if you don't feel like you can speak up for yourself, someone that will speak up for you. I had a friend who was going through a really bad divorce, and she was going through depression. She's never been that kind of person. She's never been the depressive type. She's always so happy and full of energy, and it's fantastic. I love that about her. But this was different for both of us. I actually told her, I think you're going through a depression. She started seeing a therapist. She's been doing that, and it's helped her immensely. So that goes back to medication is not always the answer, but please don't count out medication. This video was just basically my intro to something I'm going to try to do every once in a while. I know a lot of people who are in the same boat as me, and I want to get rid of the stigma that there is something wrong with you if you have a mental disorder. There's nothing wrong with me. I can't make some of my own neurotransmitters. That's fine. You know, I am still able to, with my medication, my children are happy. They are healthy. They are well fed. They are loved. I get my work done. I do it well. I do it professionally. I have friends. I compete on a roller derby team and do pretty damn well at it, if I'm being honest with myself. But today was a bad day. Today was a hard day. I got overwhelmed, and I had to close myself off and I don't want to call it a pity party, because I wasn't feeling bad for myself. I was feeling overwhelmed. So I had a breakdown, and I sobbed. I sat in the back of my van before my derby practice, and I cried. And this wasn't just a couple of tears. This was gut-wrenching, from the bottom of my stomach, sobs. And there wasn't really a trigger. It wasn't, oh, I just need to avoid that to keep that from happening again. I can't avoid life. But luckily, I have a fantastic friend, the same one I mentioned earlier. She came, she crawled in the back of my van with me, and she let me cry. And she let me vent, she let me talk. We, because it wasn't just one thing, it was so many things. And then, I got out, I went to my derby practice, and I told the people I was working with, because when I'm not in my right mind, and I will say I'm not in my right mind, that doesn't mean that I am crazy. It doesn't mean that I'm going to hurt someone or myself. I am not a self-harmer. Or I haven't had those tendencies yet. I told them, I'm having a bad day. I am in the middle of a bit of a crisis. Just wanted to let you know, because I'm usually very friendly, very out there, and I didn't feel that. I didn't want to be around people. I didn't want to be friendly and joking. I wasn't feeling it. And I am so fortunate to have people that looked at me and said, that's cool. Is there anything that I can do for you? I'm like, no, this is just a me thing. They said, okay, if you need to step out, or, you need a minute, just let us know. And, if you need to talk, just let me know. It's exactly what I needed. Because sometimes when you're going through a mental thing, you don't want someone to try to help fix it. A lot of times when I've got something going on, I know what the fix is. I know what the problem is. Sometimes I need to be left alone. Sometimes I need to be able to sit by myself and stare at a wall and let my brain, I jokingly call it defrag. It just needs to sort things out, I need to come up with my own solution. But I did feel that because I was not in my normal mindset, that my team should know. My team needed to know that I was not thinking the same way, because when you're on 8 wheels and rolling around a track and all that kind of stuff, you need to be able to trust the people that you're working with, especially in something as high as intensity as roller derby. So, you know, if you've got questions for me about what you're experiencing, or someone you know is experiencing, if you've got any questions about anxiety, different types of medication, things like that, I'll get you, the information that I can. I am not a doctor. Anything that I say on these videos is from personal experience, because not only do I have anxiety, my husband does as well. He's got a different type, but he does have anxiety as well. I have a son who has ADHD and is on the autism spectrum, and he's 8. And my 6-year-old daughter is showing signs of the same anxiety symptoms that I had. We have a very atypical neurotransmitter tree in my family tree, and that's okay. Makes us who we are. I wouldn't change it, because I'd be a completely different person. But we try to control it, make it not unbearable, because it's hard to function when it gets out of control. So if you've got questions or comments or profound thoughts, just let me know. I'll try to answer the best I can. I will not accept any negative comments or any bullying. This is supposed to be for people to be able to reach out and, if they've got comments or questions or experiences. I hope to do more of these, because this is just scratching the surface of, what I experience, and I know that there are others that will be willing to share theirs as well. So just let me know what you think, and if you want to see any more of these, give me a like. Thanks much. Bye.